Welcome back to the Team to Beat Miami Heat podcast, your one-stop shop for daily Miami Heat content. My name is Amir. Doing a post-game show. I don't know why, but just felt like doing one. The Miami Heat lost to the Memphis Grizzlies 125-91 in Memphis. The Miami Heat are on a 7-game losing streak. They're now 29-38, so they're 9 games below 500. They are 9th in the East. They are somehow only 3 games from the 7th seed. The Atlanta Hawks right now are 32-35, but they're not catching up to them because the Miami Heat are one of the worst teams in the NBA currently. Period. They are terrible. They stink. They are struggling offensively, defensively, just in general. They have been horrible the past few weeks. And in the last 10 games, they're 2-8, and they've lost 14 out of the last 18 games. So let that sink in. Outside of the 7-game losing streak, which there's no end in sight. We'll go through the schedule. We'll look and see who else they're playing. I know they're playing the Knicks next. And then they're going to be playing Detroit and like the Rockets. And then they finally get a break. But there is no break with this Miami Heat team because every game is a struggle. Every game is torture. And at this point, I don't know what to say. I don't know why we're losing all these games, but we currently don't have a dedicated, motivated team that is talented enough to win on a night out and night basis. I said that wrong. I don't even care. But anyway, this was a rough game to watch. I didn't watch the entirety of the game because I was cooking dinner and I was playing with my 2-year-old daughter. And quite frankly, playing with her with the game in the background was much more entertaining and much more fun and actually less stressful because toddlers can be stressful and annoying at times, but not as annoying as this current Miami Heat team. And again, the season's a wash. You lose Jimmy Butler, who's playing great for the Warriors. The Warriors have been amazing. They're like 13-1 or whatever in games that he's played since the trade, 13-2 overall. Like, what do you expect? You trade your aging superstar, playoff superstar in Jimmy Butler, your best player in general, the only guy who can, slow the game down in a half-court set, a guy who's clutch in the fourth quarter, a guy who can get to the free throw line. The Miami Heat can't get to the free throw line anymore, and they're one of the worst free throw shooting teams in the NBA. They're one of the worst scoring teams in the NBA as well. I mean, obviously, they scored only 91 points tonight, which is embarrassing. And the Memphis Grizzlies are obviously a very good team. They're a good defensive team, but Ja Morant was out. They sat him out because they're like, why would we want to play him when we could rest him? Because the Miami Heat are horrible and haven't won a road game in a long time, are on a 6-game losing streak. So why risk it? Let's just give him the night off, even if he didn't need it necessarily. Let him load manage for a game. So the Heat still lost, and we got our butt whooped basically by Jaren Jackson Jr. and Desmond Bane. They were both awesome at the beginning of the game and all throughout. But yeah, man, it sucks. It's tough being a Miami Heat fan right now, and I wasn't openly rooting against my team, and I technically wasn't rooting against them. But how can you not at this point? Like, I'm honestly at the point now where I would want them to lose. I don't want them to tank necessarily and shut guys down in that sense, but they are so bad that we don't need to shut down Bam and Tyler and tank because our 2 best players are simply not good enough. They are both probably number 3 options on a winning team or a contending team. Like, Tyler Hero can't be your 1, Bam can't be your 2, or Bam can't be your 1 and Tyler can't be your 2, whatever order you want to put them in. It's not good enough. It's not cutting it. They're not consistent enough. They're both inconsistent. Tyler, has been struggling, especially from an efficiency standpoint from 3. And he's been doing fine. Like, he's not bad. Like, without him, this team would have a 0% chance to win. But his play is not leading to victories. It's not just on him. Bam's play is not. Andrew Wiggins is not helping. No one's helping. Coach Spo is not helping. But this team is just done. They're cooked. And I honestly would prefer them to lose and get a better draft pick and get that second pick in the draft from the OKC Thunder. And it's a really deep draft, and maybe we can get lucky and have maybe the 8th or 9th worst record, and our odds for getting like a top 5, 6 pick increases a lot when you have one of the worst records in the NBA. And so at this point, they might as well tank. So for this game, I don't know if I want to talk about it too much. We'll get into it a little bit real quick. But so the Grizzlies dominated out the gate. They were up by 17 at one point until the Miami Heat came back in the end of that fourth quarter, and still didn't matter. They allowed 38 points in that first quarter, and they were 38-27. Now by 11, game was over then. They never got close, and maybe at one point in the third quarter, I think the Heat got within 9, and then it was over again. But at halftime, the Heat only scored 21 points in the second quarter, and the Grizzlies outscored them by 4. So they were up by 15 at half, and the Heat started off hot and had a couple three-pointers, a couple buckets early on, but then Memphis came roaring back. They allowed 31 points to the Heat's 19, and the Heat were completely outclassed and outmatched tonight. Even in the fourth quarter, they were outscored 24-31. So they did not beat the Memphis Grizzlies in a single quarter. In terms of team stats, the Heat shot 40% from the field. The Grizzlies shot 55. Heat shot 24% from 3, 9 for 37, which is terrible. Grizzlies 12 for 31, 39%. That's the ball game right there. The Heat shot 80% from the free throw line, and the Grizzlies shot 92%. Heat had 14 turnovers to 10. They lost the rebounding battle big time, 37-51. And that's all she wrote right there, honestly. Like, obviously, their field goal percentage was way worse. More turnovers, couldn't rebound. That's the ball game right there. Let's go through the players real quick. Kel'el Ware looked pretty good and solid at times. He looked a lot better tonight. Since like the last 4 or 5 games, he hasn't really looked great. He seemed like he's hit the rookie wall, but it looked a lot better tonight. 19 points, 11 boards, played 36 minutes, 8 for 14, 2 for 6 from 3. He had 1 steal, 1 turnover. So he was solid. Bam bounced back a little bit. He did shoot 15 attempts finally instead of taking 7 like he did the last game. He was 7 for 15, 18.6 boards, no assists. Bam not getting a single assist is not a good look. He had 2 blocks and a steal, 3 turnovers. Tyler Hero and Andrew Wiggins did nothing, and Duncan Robinson as well. But Robinson only played 13 minutes. But Tyler Hero has been inconsistent. 8 points in 22 minutes, 2 rebounds, 7 assists, 3 for 12 from the field, 1 for 4 from 3, 1 block, 2 steals. Didn't do anything. Wasn't effective. Got blown out. They took him out. He didn't play the full game. Andrew Wiggins, 22 minutes. He only had 8 points. No rebounds, 1 assist, 3 for 8 from the field, 1 for 5 from 3. Duncan, nothing, 0 for 3, 0 points, was terrible. Kyle Anderson got 30 minutes off the bench. The bench played most of the second half, obviously. So Kyle did great, 5 for 8, 13.6 rebounds, 5 assists. Hawkeyes looked good, even though he's only 4 for 10 from the field. But he had 13 points, 5 boards, 3 assists. Terry Rozier, ass as usual, 27 minutes, only had 5 points, 2 for 9, 1 for 6 from 3. Get him off this team. Davion, 20 minutes, 3 points, 2 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 for 4 from the field, 1 for 2 from 3. Nothing. Paolo Larson, only 14 minutes. Like, give him more time. Like, why is Kyle Anderson even playing at this point? Like, let Pella get the reps. Why are you even playing him? It makes no freaking sense. But he was okay. 4 points, 2 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 for 5 from the field. No turnovers. So, yeah, we sucked. Grizzlies, Jaren Jackson had 31 points and 6 rebounds. He had 23 at halftime. Bane had 22, 10, and 8. Killed us. Zach Edey looked fine. 2 blocks, 12 points, 8 rebounds. Anyway, the Miami Heat suck. We're a terrible team at this point, and I don't know what this Heat team can do to turn around, which is actually nothing. Why am I even saying that? They have no freaking chance to turn this around. So let's look at the standings real quick. I'll share my screen. So the Miami Heat are 9th, and the Chicago Bulls are only 1 game behind the Miami Heat, which is pathetic. The Chicago Bulls were like 6 games behind us, but they won like on what is it? They're 6-4 in the last 10. They won like 3 games in a row before that loss. And so we're only 1 game ahead of the Chicago Bulls. At this point, go Chicago. And I hope the Miami Heat lose every single game at this point. But look, the Heat are stuck. We're not going to get above 7, and we're not going to really get below 10. Like the Raptors are 5 games below. Like honestly, the Raptors, they're actually 6-4 and they've won 3 in a row. So, I mean, if they continue winning somehow and we just continue losing, maybe we can surpass them, but I doubt that is going to happen. So we're stuck in this purgatory, and I'm hoping though if we get in the play-in, which we will, I hope it's at the 10th seed, so that if we do lose one game, then we're automatically out. But watch the Miami Heat win multiple and make it to the playoffs and not allow us to get that pick. That would be hilarious. So going back to Tyler Hero real quick, just touching upon his stats of late. So if we look at the last 5 games, even before we look into the last 5 games, look at the last 3 games. Lost by double digits, lost by double digits, lost by double digits. So we've just been getting our ass beat. Like maybe they are silently taking. I don't know. But all 3 of these teams are obviously good teams. They're all playoff teams. So it makes sense. But Tyler Hero, man, he has been struggling from 3. 25% tonight. The game before he was solid, 37.5. But look at this, 28%, 20%, 28%. He was shooting 44% for the first 2 months of the season. We knew that was going to go down drastically. His percentages have gone down big time. He's shooting worse this year than he did last year from 3. And he's just he's inconsistent. Like the numbers are fine, but again, they're not leading. Like he's taking too many threes and he's chucking up a bunch of shots. And these are low caloric shots. They're not there's no nutrients with these shots. Like we're getting no calories from these. Like besides his 31-point game, he's scoring under his average of 24 points per game. Like he has not been solid. Like he needs to figure it out. Honestly, he can't be our number 1 guy. Let's look at the schedule before I close out. So the Heat are on a 7-game losing streak. They play the Knicks next at New York. That should be a loss. Then they play at home for the next 6 games or so, and they're going to be playing Detroit. We should lose. Playing Houston, we should lose. We should be on a 10-game losing streak, and I'm actually rooting for it, which is sad to say, but it's for the betterment of the team. Then we play the Hornets, who you would think we would win against, but that was one of the teams that we lost to last week when we were up by double digits in the 4th quarter and the first half. So that's not a guaranteed victory. And then, of course, we play on Tuesday, March 25th against the Golden State Warriors. Jimmy Butler is going to be returning to the Kaseya Center. That should be a loss. So even if we do get 1 win, we might go on a 10-game losing streak. We might get 1 win and then lose again. So we'll be 1 out of our next 11 games or so. Then we have Atlanta, which is a tough matchup. And then, we should beat Philly and Washington, but then we still play Boston again, Memphis, Milwaukee. Philly, we should beat again. They're just horrible, but Chicago's had our number. We have a decent schedule. It's not extremely hard, but for the Miami Heat, every game is going to be hard. So, yeah, it's rough. I predict the Heat are going to lose the next 3 at this point and go on a 10-game losing streak. I don't know when the last time they went on a 10-game losing streak was, but the biggest losing streak that took place for the Miami Heat in their franchise history was back in the 2007 season where they lost 15 games in a row. So we're not close to that yet. We're at the halfway point, but it's been rough, man. We'll see what happens, but I just need the season to end at this point, and we need to get 2 draft picks. We need to retool and figure shit out and, yeah, get this season done with. Anyway, that's all I have for this episode. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel.